are traveling, make sure that you are safe out on those roads, depending on where you are. It's supposed to be pretty bad, especially if you're in the northern states or if you're in the middle of the country. Also, make sure that you have your necessary supplies, food, candles. If you have a vehicle, if you're driving in your vehicle, make sure that you have like an emergency kit, blankets, and things like that, flashlights. I mean, if you do, other kits and things like that, make sure that your stuff is well taken care of as far as for flares and things like that. If it's permitted in your area, make sure that you figure out your state's laws and all that kind of stuff. Also, one of the big things too is I know some of you be slacking on certain things, and I get it. I get it. Check your tires. Check your tires. Don't be sitting out here driving on ball tires in the snow, not only putting yourself at risk, but putting other people at risk. You know who you are. You know exactly who you are. And I'm telling you right now, check your tires. If you need to go get some new tires, put it on the credit card. It's already almost maxed out anyway, so you might as well buy something that you need. And there you go. There you go as we get started here. I had to give a PSA to some of you guys because some of you, some of you, oh, it's going to be nothing. Just go get the Heineken, babe. We'll be fine. And then 24 hours rolls by and you're sitting there like, man, I really wish that we would have got some food because the beer can only go for so long. Can only go for so long. You know who you are. Just be prepared. You guys know I'm all about being prepared and making sure that you're safe as far as in these kind of situations. So there you go. There you go. Shout out to the Wrench Gang. Shout out to the family, all the listeners, all the watchers. Let's go. Ryan says, I can put the tires on your credit card? Ryan, you got the bread, bro. You got the money, bro. We putting the tires on your card, my friend. Tires on Ryan. I want the winter forces too, yo. The winter forces, the joints that got the deep ridges for the snow. Give me them joints. Take off the Pirellis and put on the winter forces. Pearl says, my husband is so anal about checking tires that he put air in the neighbor's tire. Listen, I would have seen my tires. I was like, you know what? I'm about, 4 PSI low. Let me go ahead and put this air in this tire. Let me go ahead and get this air in this tire because I don't want to have no trouble. I don't want to have to, it's 10 degrees outside and I got to shiver. My hands about to freeze off because my tire pressure is too low and I waited for the last minute. I'm not doing that. No. Tire pressure's right. Emergency water, blankets, all that stuff in the back, and I'm good to go. I'm good to go. You ain't going to catch me out here on the highway stranded. No gas, no food, no blankets. We see it every year. And that's why I'm just dropping a disclaimer. Hope you guys really, really take heed of it and take care of it. I really do. All jokes aside, make sure you're prepared for this kind of stuff. All right. Says he has like 4 tire gauges in the truck. Yeah, let's go. Shout out to Purple's husband. He's doing it real good. Ken says, look at the blizzard of 1978 in Buffalo. Yeah, man, we know all about that. We know all about it's actually the 77 blizzard. The blizzard of 77, my friend. But yeah. Just make sure you're prepared. So tonight, ladies and gentlemen, we're going to be getting into your NFC playoff predictions. We did the AFC yesterday. If you did want to know about those predictions, look for that video. We literally did it yesterday. Also, Noah, who's one of my new favorite high school players I've been looking into, he started to basically blow up, ladies and gentlemen. The kid's gone viral. If you have not had a chance to go look at the interview, make sure that you go check out Mr. Noah's interview. He's blowing up because of his last name. It's super controversial. We learned how to say it, so make sure you do check out the interview. It was really good. We talked about, his life, sports and what he's doing, his family. It's really great. So make sure you guys check it out. Show the kid some love. He's more than just his last name, and definitely excited to see as far as how his career goes. Now, let's keep it going. First game that I will be starting off here tonight is going to be your Packers and the Cowboys. Packers and the Cowboys, Cowboys, Packers. However you want to say it, it's going to be a hell of a show, and for more than one reason. Obviously, the stage is set. Packers going against the Cowboys at home. Now, we know that the Cowboys have been doing great at home, and the reality is this. Right now, the Packers have been playing very well. They have a new chemistry as far as within this team, a great dynamic. The coaching, it's looking great, right? I do get into the conversation from time to time in regards to Aaron Rodgers, who is now under the hot seat for multiple reasons, but we're not going to get into that. The real thing was behind this specific team, these specific pieces. Could he pick them up and actually lead this team to glory? Well, guess what? He moved on. He moved on to the Jets. So now you got Jordan Love, and Jordan Love has been nothing short of absolutely amazing heading into these playoffs. Obviously had his, shortcomings in the beginning of the season, had to change some things around as far as, his work ethic and how he played on the field. They got it together, make an appearance here with his first start as far as within this season, heading into the NFC playoffs. And I got to tell you this right now. I'm excited to see it. I'm excited to see it. Going up against a strong defense like the Cowboys, we are definitely going to see one hell of a game for sure. Before I get into these predictions, quick shout out to E. Capone coming through with the $5 super chat. Also, shout out to Frederica coming through with the $5 super chat donation as well. E. Capone says, "What it do, Jay? I'm nervous about the Steelers." Don't be nervous, bro. Don't be nervous. It's gonna be all good. It's gonna be all good, my friend. Don't worry. Like I said, as far as with the Bills, it's gonna be a running battle. If Allen does throw, it's gonna be a short game. But depending on the snow that we get at the stadium, that's really gonna determine the game plan right now, and that's what everybody's waiting for. But don't be nervous. We'll be at home. We'll be fine. Shout out to Frederica. Says, "What's good, Jay and the Wrench gang? So ready for Wildcard Weekend. Let's go, Bills Mafia. Let's go." They're talking about canceling the game and all that kind of stuff, but it's not going to happen. It's not going to happen. We'll be fine. We'll be fine. They're hiring people to shovel out the stadium. And that's another thing, too, before we get into these Packers and these Cowboys. If you know somebody in the Western New York area or that's willing to take the trip, they can earn $20 an hour if they go help shovel out the stadium, Highmark Stadium. It's all over social media. Just search for it. You'll find it. But yeah, you can make $20 an hour, get yourself some free food and all that kind of stuff. So yeah, got the opportunity to shovel out the stadium, make some money. Hey, you may even get a free ticket. I'm not going to say that. Maybe you can talk upon it, figure it out, something like that. But they are offering $20 and some free food. So there you go. All right, let's go ahead and get into these predictions. Packers Cowboys. As far as the odds, ladies and gentlemen, Cowboys are favored by 7 at home. The over under is 50.5, minus 340 on the money line for the Cowboys, plus 270 on the money line for the Packers. As far as the matchup predictor, 26.4% for your Packers, 73.6% for the Cowboys. As far as your season leaders, Jordan Love is 372 of 579, 4,159 yards, 32 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. On the flip side, Dak Prescott, 410 of 590, 4,516 yards, 36 touchdowns, 9 interceptions. On the rushing side, you got Jones coming in with 656 yards and 2 touchdowns. Tony Pollard, who's been having a great year, 1,005 yards, 6 touchdowns. On the receiving corps, we got CeeDee Lamb. This man's been balling. He's been balling. He's been nothing short of absolutely stellar this season. 1,749 yards, 12 touchdowns on 135 receptions. And you've got Reed. You've got Reed coming through with 64 receptions, 793 yards, 8 touchdowns. And this is one of my new favorite players. See, look at that. Look at that. Look at that. Look at it. Can we get it clear? A little clear. There it is. I like this card. It's a nice card. Told you, I don't be playing no games with the cards, y'all. Y'all gotta pick it up. Mr. Jaden Reed balling out. And I think I got an auto around here too. I got an auto of Reed too somewhere. But yeah, that just came in. Um, he's been doing great. I'm excited to see what he does as far as his career. The chemistry that him and Jordan Love have has been absolutely, stellar as well. Um, so yeah, looking forward to see what these guys can do as far as, within this game. Obviously, offensively, bring that explosive offense, and if they can play complementary football, this should be a decent scoring game. Now, if we get into the last five for the Packers, obviously they beat the Bears 17-9. They beat Minnesota 33-10. They beat the Panthers 33-30. Lost to Tampa Bay 34-20 and lost to the Giants 24-22. Flip side, as far as for your Cowboys, they won against the Commanders 38-10. They beat Detroit 20-19. Lost to Miami 22-20. Lost to the Bills 31-10, and then beat the Eagles 33-13. So coming into this game, I think the real X factor here is going to be whether or not Dak Prescott is going to step up and play his best game. We always get into these conversations as far as whether or not Dak Prescott can go out on that field and actually stay level-headed, not throw short, not throw picks, not overthrow the ball, and lead himself into a situation to where he's either trailing and has that deer in the headlights look. Now, on the flip side, Dak Prescott probably has had the best season he's ever had, and I do feel like he can go out in that field and actually keep playing at a solid level. Whether or not the defense on the Packers side is going to be able to figure him out, bring that pressure, make him hurry up out of that pocket, so make him throw on the run, which he does have trouble with, that's going to be the big question as well. Now, I do expect Pollard to go out there, have a decent game. If CeeDee Lamb is open, he can get that ball. It's going to be a nightmare for this Packers defense. Now, as far as score predictions, obviously they're calling for 50.5. I do think this is probably going to be an under game for me. I want to say that both defenses are probably going to step up. I don't think it's going to be easy for Dak to really move that ball around. So I am going to take the Cowboys, but I'm going to take the Cowboys by 3. I think this one comes down to the wire. I think the Packers put up a good fight. I'm going to give Dak the benefit of the doubt by 3. Now, people were talking about, the Packers and Cowboys at home thing. Guess what? The last time the Packers went to the playoffs with the Cowboys, they beat them, and they beat the Cowboys at home. So this could be anybody's game, but I am taking Dallas by 3. All right. Kathy says they have won all their games at home this year, Cowboys. They have. They have. Bob called the gas company and asked them for help. I've done it before. What's going on with Bob? Let me go back and look at the comments here. Says I'm down to 0% of propane in my trailer and it's 11 degrees. Feels like 8 degrees. Bob, please, sir, get yourself some propane. Have it delivered. Have it something. But yeah, you can't be sitting in a trailer that's negative 8 degrees, my friend. That is not good. Call whoever you need to call. Family, friends, some emergency help. But get somebody out there. Get yourself some propane, man. That's not good at all. That is not good. All right. Michael says Dak has been playing a lot smarter this year. He has. He definitely has. And, that's going to be one of the biggest things that we're going to be looking at when it comes to him stepping out on that field and continuing to play at that level because, regular season's over. This is the playoffs. It's win or go home. And so if he's unable to continue playing at the level that he has at home, or if, the defense slacks off, you will see this Packers team put up points and make it very interesting down the stretch and, have us all sitting at the edge of our seats. Now, do I expect to see that? No, because we understand that this Cowboys defense at home has been very efficient. They've been playing lights out. They've been getting to the quarterback. They've been getting their sacks. Micah Parsons, we expect him to do great things on the field. But if they don't bring their A game, Jordan Love is going to expose certain parts of that defense if there is cracks in it. And that's the reality. So, like I said, I do think that it is anybody's game, but I will take the Cowboys by 3. There you go. Lamb playing too good at home? Without a doubt, Kathy. Tyler says, Bobby, if you have a vehicle with heat, get in it, sitting prayers. Yeah, without a doubt. You can't sit in that cold trailer. For sure. Jonas says 38-24 Dallas. Cowboys 49, Packers 6. J Love with the upset. Oof. I see you, Ryan. Michael says they are currently 16-0 at AT&T. AT&T. That is right, man. You know, and we look back as far as the history, right? If you look at the history as far as, you know, with the teams, they're 4-4 in the playoffs. So they're dead even. This would essentially be the tiebreaker for one of these teams, whoever wins, to take the lead as far as in their playoff matchups. So, you know, it's definitely going to be interesting to watch. I'm definitely excited to see how it goes. And, you know, at the end of the day, having the ability to watch these two teams go out there and ball out is definitely going to be great in this season's playoffs. Dallas has won 16 straight. Yeah. Yeah. Says Dallas won't make the bowl. They won't win a game in the playoffs. AJ says, I know we're doing the predictions, but what happened to Michael Irvin? So I got a quick glimpse as far as, you know, the story, but there's some kind of like accusations going down in Texas right now. I don't have the full scoop. Like I said, I just took a quick glance at it. Here's the weird thing about, before we get into the next game, which is the Rams and the Lions. Here's the weird thing about news, right? I get, just on average, I don't even know how many stories I really get. But if I was to guess, I would say I probably get about 30 stories between like football, basketball, general life, news, and all that kind of stuff, right? And it's like, I remember a time when it wasn't like that, right? You grab your paper, you had to go to the sports section and get all your updates and stuff like that, or, you know, you had to read this specific thing to know what was going on for this lifestyle or this event. And it's like, there's so much news. It's really, really difficult to stay ahead of everything. And like, I remember there was a point where I was streaming and I was like, all right, like I'll try to do like 3 or 4 streams a day in regards to different things. I don't have the time for that. So now I have to basically pick and choose, right? Pick and choose which thing is going to be the most important for that day. Now, if it's something that's super breaking, like earlier, right? I wanted to do the Bill Belichick and, you know, or the Patriots and Jared Mayo as far as he taking over for Bill Belichick. I wanted to do that, but I had other business stuff that I had to do. And it's just like, that's the kind of stuff that I definitely like need and want to report on. But if I don't have the time for it, I don't have the time for it. So that could be something that I talk about early tomorrow, right? And everybody's like, well, Jay, it is kind of old, but hey, we still talk about it. And I'm probably going to be an individual who digs a little deeper, figures out different things, and talks about different points of view as far as that story than other people will. And, you know, that's what makes us different over here. So, yeah, with that story, I'll look more into it. But unfortunately, right now, he is in trouble again. And, you know, Michael Irvin, for some reason, has this thing where something happens right before the Super Bowl, and he ends up either getting kicked off a network or not being able to talk about it. And it turns into this weird debacle. So that's why I brought it up. And, you know, we'll see what happens. We'll see what happens. All right. All right. Shout out to you, Leslie. What's going on with you, Leslie, in the house? Let's get into these Rams and these Lions, ladies and gentlemen. Lambs. The Rams. Could you imagine? The Los Angeles Lambs against the Lions. Yeah, that'd be an easy one. The Los Angeles Rams against these Detroit Lions. Now, I will say this, and I have no shame in saying it. You guys know I keep it real. As far as Mr. Stafford and this Rams team, Cooper Kupp injured, you know, them just having terrible moments, terrible games beginning of the season. I had wrote these Rams off. I really did. I ain't gonna front with you. And for Matt Stafford to come back in this season and basically show that, hey, I'm still here. I'm still a champion. I can still ball at an elite level, right? You have Puka out there, the rookie, balling it out, making a name for himself. This team has definitely changed things around, not only offensively, but defensively as well, and have put themselves in the AFC playoffs discussion, or NFC playoffs discussion. Now they're going up against the Lions. You got Jared Goff, obviously switched to quarterbacks, and they're on their respective teams and where they basically started. Right, this is going to be a hell of a game, and they've made this essentially the battle of the quarterbacks. So you couldn't probably have more of a dog fight in a sense between two teams and two quarterbacks ever than you would have with these two teams regarding their respective quarterbacks. Now, who's going to win it? Well, let's get into the matchup predictor. 46.1% for the Rams, 53.9% for the Lions. As far as the spread, it's going to be the Lions favored by 3 at home. 51.5 is your over-under. Minus 165 on the money line, plus 140 on the money line for the Rams. Now, getting into the season leaders, Stafford, 326 of 521, 3,965 yards, 24 touchdowns, 11 interceptions. Jared Goff coming through with 407 of 605, 4,575 yards, 30 touchdowns, 12 interceptions. Williams on the run game with 1,144 rushing yards, 12 touchdowns. Montgomery, I love that Montgomery and Gibbs combination. 1,015 yards, 13 touchdowns. And then on the receiving side, Nakoa with 1,486 yards, 6 touchdowns. Amon-Ra St. Brown, 119 receptions, 1,515 yards, 10 touchdowns. Ladies and gentlemen, we should see a show. This should be nothing short of a show. And in fact, I definitely think this should probably be more of an offensive game just because of the talent on both sides. And I'm not saying that, there's no defense, because there is, right? I like Hutchinson for the Lions. I like Donald for the Rams. But in this specific game, I think there's so much firepower on both sides, and so many players looking to show up. We may see a very high scoring game, considering the over-under is 51.5. I do think that the over hits in this game. Let's get into the last 5 for the Rams. Obviously, they had the win against 49ers. Now, obviously, Purdy was out for this game. It was 21-20. Sam Darnold was playing. They had the win against the Giants, 26-25, 1-point game. They had the win against the Saints, 20-22, and then one against the Commanders, 28-20. They did lose against the Ravens, 37-31. Everyone says that was a controversial game because of what happened, but hey, they did lose to the Ravens in OT. Then on the flip side for the Lions, you've got the Vikings, which they won 30-20. They lost to Dallas 20-19, 1-point game. They did win against the Vikings again, 30-24. They beat Denver 42-17 and lost to the Bears 28-13, which was a really wild one because, I don't think anybody expected the Bears to beat them, but they did. That's just the reality of it. So when we look at the Lions, as far as when they win, they put up, 30, 42. And then the Rams, right? 21, 26, 30, 28. This is very, very even as far as what we're seeing offensively. And that's why I said I do feel like this is going to be more of an offensive battle. Not that defenses are going to show up, but you're going to see a lot of guys getting burnt out there and then secondary on both sides. That's just the reality of it. There's so much talent. And then even on the running side, Williams, you've got Gibbs, you've got Montgomery. There's a lot there offensively as far as firepower. So, well, who do you take in this, Jay? Listen, I had the Detroit Lions as Super Bowl contenders, and I am going to keep going with that theory. As much as I love the Rams and as far as Stafford's story and what he's been able to do this season, I do feel like the Lions have an edge at home. They also have a chip on their shoulder right now for a few reasons. Dan Campbell is still upset about a few things as far as, what's going on as far as end of the season. My biggest thing as far as with Dan Campbell is this: his ability to not only lead this team, but coach without being emotional, because it's very easy to start seeing red when you just want to go for the win, right? When you just want to go out there and we're going to do it no matter what. I'm going to keep going for it on, 4th and 1 if I keep getting flags instead of kicking that field goal and taking it to OT. I respect a coach that has the grit, the determination that Dan Campbell does, but you also have to have some level of intelligence. Not saying he's not intelligent. What I'm saying is you have to have some level of intelligence in your mind that's able to click, right? When you're at that table and you're up 5,000, right? You're playing blackjack, whatever, and you lost that first hand. You're like, all right, maybe it's time to cash in. Instead of sitting there saying, you know what, all right, we'll do one more. I'll get the 1,000 back. They lose it, right? You lose it. Next one, you lose it there. You're like, you know what? All in. I'll get it back on this one hand. And then you blow the whole stack. That's not what you want to do in the playoffs, my friend, because you have no other opportunity. You're going home if you play that way. So Dan Campbell definitely needs to work on that. He needs to understand as far as when you get in these situations to play with some tact, play some complimentary football, get yourself the win by any means necessary, and don't make risky decisions. With that said, I'm going to go ahead and take these Lions at home by 7, but it's going to be a hell of a game. It's going to be a hell of a game. Taking Lions by 7. All right. Shout out to Bob. Says Eagles, Lions, Cowboys. Okay. Lions will lose because their coach is narcissist. Listen, I just said what Dan Campbell needs to do, and I think he's going to go into this game with a little bit more, a little bit more of the thinking cap, right? I think he's going to go into this game with a little bit more of, hey, I need to be smarter about my decisions, right? I don't need to be as brash. I don't need to be as, I don't need to be that coach that I was. I need to change tact. I need to understand that this is win or go home, and I have to make better decisions as a coach for this team and this franchise if we're going to get to a Super Bowl. So it'll be interesting to see how it plays out for sure. I'm going to take this Lions offense and their defense and Dan Campbell by 7. By 7. Jonas says the owners has banned people from wearing their Matthew Stafford Lions jerseys. Can't get into the game with it on or hang on the sign. Really? Did they really do that? That's weird. I'm going to have to check that out because that's wild. Carter says, do NBA, please. Soon, man. Without a doubt. Soon, bro. Soon. Says, let's see here. Dan Campbell shouldn't coach too emotionally. That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm getting at. At the end of the day, he has to learn how to not be emotional, not get too hot-headed, especially in such a game, right? Because this is probably not the first time, but this is, the one time where he's going to have to sit back and really think rationally about his decisions. Like really dig deep and not go with that gut as much. I'm not saying completely get rid of it, but I'm sure there's going to be times in this game where he wants to do something that he probably shouldn't do. And he's going to have to check that at the door. And I think that's the reality of it going into this game against the Rams. For sure. Rab says Lions 34, Rams 27. Okay. Bob says quit going forward on 4th down. That's a fact. Philip says Lions owners drama queens. That's what I'm saying. Like that doesn't make any sense. How can you tell someone they can't wear a Matthew Stafford jersey in the Lions stadium? That's crazy. Like I said, I got to read into it. I'll check it out, but that's weird. Next up is going to be the Eagles and the Buccaneers. So we'll get into that next after I address some of you guys in the comments here. We'll get into the Eagles and the Buccaneers. Shout out to Tactical. What up, man? This is Tennessee. We're too busy being mad at the owner for firing their head coach. I say good riddance. Listen, I was actually going through some of the comments as far as with the Jared Mayo hire, and there was a lot of people who were mad. Before we get into these Eagles and the Buccaneers prediction, I want to talk about this for a minute. There was a lot of people upset. And I've seen a lot of crazy comments. I'm not going to say what I've seen, but we're just going to, because, I try to keep it even keeled. You guys know that. There was a lot of upset people. It was very wild. Some of the stuff that I was seeing, it was like, oh, so that's how you really feel. And the reality is this. Jared Mayo was already on the team, but there was a lot of people saying, well, why didn't they go get Mike Vrabel? Or, did they really do any interviewing for this position? And then it got a little nasty further down the line. It was really wild. It was really wild because at the end of the day, I say, hire the person that's perfect for the job. And if, the individual is perfect for the job, then it is what it is. And so, just like when you have individuals get rid of certain coaches, I do feel like there's a new era going on right now in the NFL, right? We've seen so many people that are now gone that it's like, wow, like, Pete Carroll's gone and Bill Belichick's gone now. Ron Rivera's gone and like everything's changing. And so, it'll be interesting to see as far as what these new coaches do. Nick Saban, he's gone and all these guys. It's very, very wild to, see all the change ups and stuff like that. And then obviously you get into, the Harbaugh situation. Nobody knows what he's probably going to do. But, there's a lot of new doors opening, a lot of things changing. And, as they say, if you don't roll with the punches, you'll get left behind. So there you go. Jonas's Buccaneers win by 10. Eagles are a one and done, Jay? You think so? That's what you're going with? We ain't there yet. We'll get there in a minute. Bob says the NFL knew and approved it. He was picked last year to take over and Belichick left. Yeah, man. There's a lot of people that are really upset about it. It's really funny. Leslie says, do you play Xbox? No, I have a PS5, my friend. PS5. Rab says Lions must win, then take the Cowboys to get to the Niners. Lions Cowboys is going to be huge if that happens, without a doubt. Michael says Tampa by 3. All right, let's go ahead and get into it. You guys have been waiting long enough. I don't want to keep those waiting too long. Make sure you guys hit that like, hit that thumbs up. I do appreciate it. We're at 43 now. Let's try to get to 50. We need 8 more. 7 more now. 7 more likes. 7 more thumbs up to get to that 50 mark. I do thank you for the love. I do appreciate the support, you guys. Let's try to get to that 50, and then we'll get over to the Eagles and the Buccaneers. So if you have not hit that like, hit that thumbs up. Ric Flair is in the building, ladies and gentlemen. Ric Flair is in the house. Here we go. Ignacio says Cowboys 31, Packers 17. Okay, not bad. I like it. Kathy says Eagles will lose because they forgot how to tackle and Evans will run over them and they don't know what to do against the blitz, which Tampa likes to do a lot of in their games. Shout out to you, Kathy, coming through with the good takes. Do you game on the channel? No, I don't game on the channel, bro. Bobby Cox, what up, man? Says, hey Jay, I'm not laughing. What's wrong? Talk to me, Bobby. Like, yo. what's wrong, man? What's going on with you, Bobby? Listen, I gotta make you laugh, man. You gotta laugh. You gotta bright, you gotta smile, you gotta laugh, and you can't be mad. Can't be mad at all. Come on, Bobby. Let's talk. Eagles Bucks here. We're getting into that next. As we just hit that 50 likes. Shout out to you guys. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. You should game on the channel. Nah, man. My demographic. See, this is the thing about understanding your demographic and who you're marketed to. You wouldn't start with streaming sports and sports commentary and talking about sports and things like that, and then start adding gaming to the channel. That would ruin your viewer experience, and that would also take away from your watch time, and that will lead to determine as far as with the YouTube algorithm. But it's another day, another topic. We can get into it. Dimensions, you're my boy, Bobby. Sawyer, what up, man? What's going on with you? Sawyer in the house says, bro, I'm new. What's good? What's going on with you, man? Thank you for subscribing. Welcome to the channel. Aaron Volkman on Facebook says, Lions. I see you, bro. Let's go. Shout out to you guys on Facebook. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. Make sure you guys hit that like, that thumbs up. We're about to get into these Eagles and the Buccaneers. Kathy says Tampa by 21. Eagles will put it together for this. They have to. They have to. Well, I seen a story earlier before we get into these Eagles Buccaneers predictions. I seen a story earlier. Something's in my eye. There was a story earlier in regards to AJ Brown unfollowing everybody as far as on Instagram for the Eagles and all that kind of stuff. And when you have those kind of situations, who knows what's going on in the locker room as far as the morale, the team, coming together before a playoff game. That's probably the most important thing that you need to see. And then when you have one of your star wide receivers acting like that, it really, really starts to get interesting for sure. Now, let's get into these Eagles and Buccaneers. Now, straight up, as far as your game odds, spread is Eagles by 3. They are playing on the road. As far as the over-under, it's going to be 43.5, plus 135 on the money line for the Buccaneers and minus 160 on the money line for the Eagles. As far as the matchup predictor, 57.3% for the Eagles, 42.7% for the Buccaneers. Getting into your season stats, Jalen Hurts, 352 of 538, 3,858 yards, 23 touchdowns, 15 interceptions. Baker Mayfield, who had an exceptional year, 364 yards of 364 attempts on 566 completions, 4,044 yards, 28 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. Baker's been balling. And when you look at that, and then you try to look at as far as, the talent that Jalen Hurts brings to this Eagles franchise, it really starts to make you wonder as far as the fall off that Hurts has had coming into these playoffs. Next after that's going to be the rushing side of things with Swift with 1,049 yards, 5 touchdowns. White with 990 yards, 6 touchdowns. And then on the receiving side, A.J. Brown with 1,456 yards, 7 touchdowns. Mike Evans, probably the most underrated wide receiver that we ever hear about. 1,255 yards, 13 touchdowns. Absolutely amazing. No matter what quarterback he's played with, he's been nothing short of stellar, without a doubt. Quick shout out to Bobby Cox. Says, hey, Jay, sending a $5 super chat. Woo! Shout out to you, Bobby. Thank you for the love. Thank you for the support. Since I like the Rams over the Lions in the second round, I would like the Rams versus the 49ers and the Eagles versus Cowboys. That would be nice. I'm good. Just joking. Shout out to you, bro. So then as far as the last 5 for the Eagles, right? They had the loss against the Giants. Hurts wasn't in for this game. A lot of the starters weren't. They lost 27-10. The Cardinals game was very interesting. The Cardinals game was very interesting. They lost to the Cardinals 35-31. And I do think this was an eye-opener for not only just the team, but for the fans and everybody in the NFL, right? This is one of the games where it's like, okay, well, they should win, right? They should beat the Cardinals. It's just how it goes. But the Cardinals have been this really sneaky team, just coming out, winning games they shouldn't be, and putting teams on notice like, oh, we can beat you. We can beat you. And at the end of the day, you expect more out of the Eagles than what we've been getting. And I tried telling people at the beginning of the season, even when they went on the run, and I had so many people telling Jay, you don't know what you're talking about. Jay, you're a hater. Shut up. You're a Bills fan. Okay. I said that the Eagles have been skating by all year, and I said that they would lose 3 in a row. And then we seen it. We seen it happen. And you know what I got? Out of about 2,000 people ridiculing me on Facebook, I got about 4 people that told me I was right. 4 people, I can count it on my hand, told me I was right when I said they would lose 3 in a row, and that would leave the Eagles in shambles towards the end of the season. I said it, and I didn't even rub it in nobody's face. But they know I said it. It's documented. You can go back and look at the stats. I called it. 2,000 people commented on that post, and nothing was said after it happened. Keep going. Obviously, the one against the Giants, 33-25. Lost to the Seahawks, 20-17. Lost to Dallas, 33-13. That's a part of that 3-game loss streak. Then on the flip side, you got the Buccaneers. They won against the Panthers, 9-0. They lost to the Saints, 23-13. They won against Jacksonville, 30-12. Won against Green Bay, 34-20. And they beat the Falcons, 29-25. Now, right now, I could definitely say that if I were to put a comparable team as far as the Eagles, just from a point of talent and where they are, I could put the Packers just a little bit over the Eagles at this point. And that's scary to say because we know that they have a great defense for the most part, and their offense has elite talent that just hasn't been utilized properly, and this team has lost their identity. So when I say, Green Bay's over them, I'm talking just from a point of reference going into these, NFC playoffs. And I think that's going to be the actual hierarchy that I can utilize. I could say Rams, Eagles, Packers, Lions, Cowboys, 49ers. That's how my list would go right now. Unless the Eagles can shake things up and actually prove to us, what they're able to do here against these Buccaneers. Remember, guys and gals, this is a one and done. There's no, we'll get them next time. This is a one and done. And I'm not sure if, these Eagles have the heart right now to actually go out here and win. Now, on the flip side, Baker Mayfield and these guys, I mean, it's been a really, really weird year for them as well. And now they're in this situation where they've, got into the playoffs being a 9-8 team. Baker Mayfield obviously getting a new contract, so he will be with, the Buccaneers for at least another year. And he's had a pretty good year, 28 touchdowns, 10 interceptions. He's playing efficient football, with 364 or 566. He hasn't been doing bad at all. You've got a solid running back at White. You've got great chemistry with Evans, and some other players that can definitely step up when you need them to. This could very well be another game that comes down to the wire, and the Buccaneers take it. And I really feel weird saying this because in the back of my mind, it's telling me that the Eagles should win. But if I go with the gut, I'm thinking it's the Buccaneers. And you guys know I use my mind a lot. I use numbers. I do my stats. I do my analysis. And we run through analytics all the time. But I think this is one time I'm going to go with my gut. And I think the Buccaneers are going to win and advance at home. I don't know what kind of score prediction we're going to have for this one. I mean, obviously, with it being a 3-point spread in favor of the Eagles, I think even Vegas is telling us this could go either way. But I really feel like the Buccaneers are going to take it at home. So there you go. Shante says, do you think Baker will be the quarterback for the Buccaneers going into next season? Yeah, he's already, or they've already set up a new contract for him coming into the next season. So he'll be there for another year. Drowning Music says, I just hope Browns win this one tomorrow and I'd be happy. Listen, they've got their work cut out for them, my friend. Texans aren't going to go down easy. Without a doubt. Kathy says Vegas been wrong a lot against the Eagles. Yeah. You've had more than a few games where the Eagles were favored and they totally blew it. It's a fact. Leslie says, follow your hearts. All right. Puck says, I'll take the Eagles. I see you, bro. Listen, to be honest, I don't think there's any real wrong answer in this one. The Eagles have not been playing elite, right? What do we know Jalen Hurts for? At this point in his career, what do we know him for? 1 or 2 yard run. He gets pushed from behind and picks up a first down on a 4th and 1 or a 4th and 2. When's the last time we were sitting here like, oh my goodness, Jalen Hurts threw for this big bomb, or he ran for 20, 30 yards and everyone's sitting there like cheering along? We haven't seen that. It's been very close wins. It's been just skating by, and it's been hoping that the Eagles don't lose when they've been favored to win. So when you step into Tampa Bay for a playoff game, your star wide receivers obviously not on the same page as you. Who the hell are you going to throw it to? Obviously, if you can establish the run, you can get something going. But at the end of the day, I think the Eagles are in shambles. I really do. And we're probably going to see a shaken team on the field. And listen, I'm not going to say it because I hope to see a great game on a Monday night for a playoff game. But you're not too far out of the realm of the Eagles potentially getting blown out on a Monday night in a Tampa Bay stadium. Tell me I'm wrong. Somebody tell me I'm wrong. Let's talk about it. Somebody tell me I'm wrong. I want to hear it. Jordan says Eagles on paper look good. However, the game is played on grass. Baker will make Eagle pot pie out of them. Shout out to you, Jordan. Let's go, man. Matt says Cowboys will win it all. I said it first. Matt, I don't think you're the first person to say that, my friend. I think the whole Cowboys nation has said that. Father Time says it's true. This time of the year can happen. Puck says you're wrong. Puck, tell me why I'm wrong. Tell me why. Tell me why. I mean, if you guys even want to do a call-in, we could do a call-in. I'm down for it. If you want to do a call-in, you want to tell Jay why he's wrong over the phone. You want to pick up the phone and tell Jay why he's wrong. Tell me why the Eagles can't get blown out. Tell me why. And what we'll do is, let's see here. See if I can get this set up. See if I can get this all set up. Shout out to Tactical says Jay is the Pennsylvania kryptonite. Yo, the Philly kryptonite, yo. It's bad. It's so bad. It's so bad. You guys know how this works if you're a Philly fan. I don't even try to do it intentionally. It just happens that way. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. What do we got? What do we have here? All right, yeah, let's do it. Let's do this. Let's go ahead and do a call-in show, ladies and gentlemen. I'll put the number up in the chat. I will put the number up in the chat for you guys. Let's do a call-in show. You can give your NFC or AFC, whichever one you want to do, predictions, and we'll chop it up for a little bit. Chop it up over the phone, over the airwaves, as they say, right? Over the airwaves. Call-in show. Why, yo, what is going on? Why can't I pin my own comments no more? Like, I don't get this. Can somebody like copy that so I could pin it to the chat? For some reason, I can't pin my own comment no more. Pin everybody else's, but I don't know why. Yeah, somebody copy that and just post it for me. That way I can just pin your comment to the top of the chat. Thank you kindly. Thank you kindly. Five times says, don't hide. Call it in. Call it in. All right. What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? What do we got? Who we got on the line?
Hands up.
What? What'd he say? All right. So this, I'll put it in the
unknown caller.
Hold on, I'll put it in the scroll here for you, Michael. Shout out to you, bro. Yeah, I'll put it in the scroll here. All right, hold on. That's all set. Who we got? Hello?
Hi.
Hey, who we got?
You there?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you. My furnace is running.
Oh, okay. How you doing? How you doing?
Well, I've been moving snow for the last 20 hours, so yeah, sweating and cold, and yeah, that's the way it goes in Iowa right now.
Okay,
How
so
you doing?
I'm good, man. I'm good. We're just chopping it up about the game now. Obviously having a good time like we always do. And just wanted to see how you felt about these NFC playoffs and, who you think's going to take it, who you think's not going to take it, and we'll go from there.
I'm debating so we got the Bills for the AFC, right?
Yeah, you've got the Bills and the Steelers AFC.
And for the NFC, you've got to look at that's a tough one. I've got to go with the Eagles.
So you're taking the Eagles against the Buccaneers?
Yeah.
Okay. So tell me.
Point total's going to be a.
Well, go ahead.
It's a wipeout.
Oh, it's going to be a blowout.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking.
Okay. So tell me why the Buccaneers can't blow out the Eagles. That's what I want to know. Tell me why the Buccaneers can't blow out the Eagles.
Well, I think Evans said it right. They've all season long they've put up low point totals, whereas the Eagles have put up pretty good offense.
Okay. So, all right, when you say low point totals, I mean, if I pull up, the Buccaneers here, obviously we'll start with when they basically got onto week 10, right? Or even that. No, we'll go back to the Bills game. They lost to the Bills 24-18. They lost to the Texans 39-37, right? They put up 37 points there. They won against the Titans 20-6. They lost to San Francisco 27-14. They lost to the Colts 27-20. Then they went on to win against the Panthers 21-18, win against the Falcons 29-25, win against the Packers 34-20, won against the Jags 30-12, lost to the Saints 23-13, and then won against the Panthers, which, it's the Panthers. 9-0. Now on the flip side, right, you want to get into the Eagles and as far as the points that they've put up.
What I'll point out about that is they've only scored 30 points twice.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, now do the Eagles.
Okay. So now as far as the Eagles, we'll do the same thing. We'll start at pull this here for sort of the schedule. We'll do the same thing from week 10. Obviously, they had the bye. They won against Kansas City 21-17. They beat the Bills in overtime 37-43. They lost to the 49ers 42-19. They lost to Dallas 33-13. They lost to the Seahawks 20-17. They won against the Giants 33-25. They lost to the Cardinals 35-31, and then obviously lost to the Giants 27-10. So when we talk about points, right? When we talk about points, if you look at that 3-game stretch where they lost, and I'll give you credit for 49ers and Cowboys because that's a very strong defense. Not many teams were putting up 30 points against them. But what about the Seahawks? Seahawks 20-17.
Right.
I mean, you could say that the Seahawks and the Buccaneers is almost a better team, or almost the same team, just with a better quarterback. So, I don't think points are really a thing that we can go by specifically in this. I think it boils down to the fact of these Eagles not having the proper chemistry, not having the proper game plan. Nick Sirianni does not look like he's, been able to rally the troops and really get this team together. And unfortunately, like I said, it's really hard for anyone to tell me that the Buccaneers couldn't just absolutely destroy these Eagles at home.
Well, and you made a good point because that's only 2 30-point games for both teams.
Exactly. Mm-hmm.
So
yeah. So when you look at the opportunities that Jalen Hurts has and the talent that he has on his team, there really isn't any kind of excuse for the kind of production that they've been putting up. So, that's bar none. It's like, okay, we got into the playoffs. Wouldn't you think we still want to show the NFL and the world that we're a dominant team? And then heading into these playoffs, regardless if you're sick, regardless of what's going on there, this team should still be putting up a good amount of points. They still should be showing us that they're dominant, and their defense shouldn't be allowing us many points either. And unfortunately, we're seeing a team that looks out of place. We're seeing a team that is definitely questionable heading into these playoffs. And on the flip side, the Buccaneers are like, all right, listen, maybe we can do it again without Tom Brady. They believe in Baker Mayfield. I'm not sure if this Eagles team really believes in Hurts at this point.
Well, and we saw what happened with Flacco and taking care of his team. He walked in the locker room and the team said, hey, okay, we'll follow you.
Exactly.
And the same thing is what you're describing right now. The Buccaneers are like, yeah, we'll follow you, but on the flip side, no.
Okay. So, yeah, I mean, I think this at the end of the day, when we boil it down and come to the conclusion is this. The reality is this could go either way. I am going with my gut in this one. I do think that the Buccaneers take it. But in the back of everybody's mind, we could go into this game, Buccaneers run it up, and the Eagles just, self-destruct, and, they leave out that stadium deflated for sure.
Well, over the course of this conversation, I'm going to change my vote to the Buccaneers.
Did I convert you just like that? Is that how it works?
Well, you're using your brain now. I'm going to try and follow that.
Hey, listen, obviously, it's a prediction. I look at the numbers just like everyone else. I look at the numbers just like some of these top guys that, really do this and get paid millions to do it. The reality is this. We know and understand that football is an ever-changing thing, right? Any given Sunday, well, and in this case, it's the playoffs, win or go home. Which team is going to want it more? Which team is going to have more heart? Which team is going to have more drive? And to be honest, I'll tell you this right now. I think Baker Mayfield is going to have a little bit more heart on that field come Monday night than Jalen Hurts will. And we're probably going to see, Baker really, really have probably one of the best games that he's had in his career.
I'm not disagreeing with you. No. Thanks for taking me or taking your time for me.
No, definitely.
Have a good night, Jay.
You as well. Have a good night, man. Have a good night. All right. Who we got? Hello? All right. Who else we got? Who wants to call in? The number is on the screen, 585-371-8825. We're talking about the NFC Wildcard Playoffs. Who do you got? Who do you think's going to take it? We've got the Packers and the Cowboys, the Rams and the Lions, Eagles and the Buccaneers. Let's chop it up. Who do you got? Who do you got? Who do you think is going to do what? Who wants to call in next? 585-371-8825. 585-371-8825. Bob, this is the playoffs. Yeah, man. Without a doubt. Purposes from now on, if you lose, you're done until next season. That is a fact. Carl, shout out to you, man. What up? This is Bills Mafia in the house. Let's go. All right, here we go.
Caller.
Who do we got?
Hey, Jay, it's Brad.
Brad, how you doing?
Great. I'm doing pretty good. How about you?
I'm doing good, man. I'm enjoying life right now. You know, we're just waiting for the snow. And
I love your show.
Well, I thank you, man. I thank you for
my
the
first
support.
TV for these games.
Really? That's good. That's good to hear, man.
So, what's the question where we're at? The
So-
Eagles look like they are sliding down the hole for quite a while. I'd be real surprised if they pull out of it.
So
But the Bucks, they were kind of weak in the end also.
So would
It's a
you
tough one.
would you agree that both teams right now are coming off of, you know, a slow season, even though the Eagles have the better record on paper? Would you say that both teams are coming off the slow season?
Well, in the end, when I started really paying attention in the last 6-7 weeks,
Mhm.
it seemed like the Bucks could have wrapped it up, and they just didn't.
Sure.
And the Eagles squeaked because they had such a great start. But I think it won't matter because each team will have to play the Niners. And I don't think either one of them have a chance.
So you make a good point there, right? I mean, if we're looking into the future, we know that one of these teams do have to move on. So if they can get through the divisionals and if they can get to the championship, which we think that the 49ers could be at or could be in, what real chance, right, would the Buccaneers or the Eagles have if they went against the 49ers in a divisional or in a championship game? You know, and I think
None. They wouldn't have a chance.
Yeah, that's, you know.
It's the Cowboys or Lions. It's going to come down to those three, I believe.
And that's kind of where I had, you know, my you know, power rankings for the NFC in a sense, right? As far as, you know, with the Eagles, I think they're just right there, you know, with the Buccaneers. I don't think they really are going to have, you know, the heart, the fight, the determination, or, you know, even the team chemistry, because people don't really realize it doesn't matter who you have on your team. If the team's not in sync, if the team's not at 100%, and especially the defense, because we know we get into the conversation of, you know, defense wins championships. If you don't have the chemistry and you guys aren't really ready to go out there and win, it's not going to happen. And I feel like the Eagles definitely have a rift right now in the locker room, especially with the A.J. Brown situation, deleting everybody off social media. That's not something that you need 2 or 3 days away from a playoff game. So, yeah, without a doubt, I don't think either of these teams have a solid chance as far as the 49ers. And what's your Super Bowl predictions? Who are you taking from the NFC and the AFC?
Well, I'm a little like you. I have what my gut says and then what my logic goes by.
Tell me both.
And my logic says Niners, but of course, Detroit or the Cowboys could. Whoever's hotter, what defense is stronger. I don't know. The Bills.
Okay.
Take the Ravens. I think those are my top choice.
Okay. When we
Bills Lions.
So my own personal, and I use this word as my personal, right? What I would like to see. There's two scenarios, realistically, two scenarios. First and foremost, I would like to see Bills Cowboys. My logic is telling me Bills 49ers. Now,
You think so? That's
I
very
do.
possible.
It's very possible. Now, if I look at stats and I look at, you know, the best team right now, and I look at, you know, who's been dominant, then obviously I probably have to go with, you know, Ravens 49ers, maybe Cowboys, but the 49ers just has that edge on them right now. And that's the big thing, because when we talk about, you know, anybody in the NFC getting to the Super Bowl, you have to really sit back and question whether or not this team can play against the 49ers. That is bar none. That's it. And if you can line up both offenses, line up both defenses, and you can come up for an argument as far as the Cowboys, the Rams, the Lions, the Eagles, whichever team in the NFC, it becomes very hard to find a team that can really match not only the talent, but match that team's chemistry, right? That I say chemistry a lot because this is very important. If you can't match the 49ers chemistry going into this game, you're not going to beat them. You're not going to beat them.
Totally true.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, they got the chemistry and they have the balance between everything. So do you think this will come down to the best defense?
You know, it's difficult to say because we've seen the Cowboys defense get exposed, right? We've seen the 49ers, you know, slack off and have their shortcomings as far as, you know, in their games. And so that's why I want to say that this year's playoffs is very tricky. Last year, you know, it was kind of, now I'm not going to say easy, but you could spot certain teams that were going to do well. And in this one, it's like, okay, we know that, you know, the Ravens are dominant. We know the 49ers are, but everybody before that, who's going to step up? Who's going to do what? And that's why a lot of these games are very close as far as, you know, the spreads, and they're very close as far as, you know, with the score predictions and things like that, because obviously we're making predictions, but nobody really knows. That's how some of these games are set up, and especially when you look at, you know, the Buccaneers and the Eagles, that's one that can go any way. The Rams and the Lions, that's another one that can go any way. Packers, Cowboys, that could go any way. Like, you just really don't know. So when you boil down to it, yes,
it's so true.
Yeah. You know, as far as with the Cowboys, I would say obviously I'm leaning more towards them against the Packers because on paper their defense should be better. But like I said, we've seen, you know, the Cowboys slow up and get sloppy and you know, give other teams a win.
Yep, I totally agree. This could be a good year. Hard to tell.
Yeah, definitely. So I do thank you for the time, Brad. It was great talking to you, man.
With you.
Definitely. Have yourself a great evening. Stay safe out there and be warm.
You too. Keep up the great work. Thanks.
Will do. Bye-bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen. So there you go. That's going to be our show for this evening. It was great hanging out with you guys. Once again, if you are preparing for a storm, make sure you guys are safe out there. Take care of your family. Check on your loved ones. Bob, please reach out to somebody local who can help you out, man. That way, you know, you can get some heat there because that's not good. That is not good. Shout out to Perry. Says Bills versus Lions Super Bowl. Listen, I don't think anybody's wrong as far as predictions right now. And, you know, does Jared Goff have the necessary tools to get there offensively and defensively? He does. I think if the Lions are going to be successful and if the Lions are actually going to make that run to the Super Bowl, Dan Campbell is going to have to game plan appropriately and not look ahead. He's going to have to take each game for what it is. He's going to have to focus and really, really get this defense on lockdown mode because they have the tools and the pieces to do it. Jared Goff, for the most part, he's been efficient, but he's really going to have to step up and play at an elite level that we haven't seen before. Because at the end of the day, there is still a lot of talent in the NFC. And if you make a mistake, somebody is going to make you pay for it. But I'd like to see it. I would like to see it. Bills, Lions, Super Bowl, 2 Lake Erie teams. It could be something. It could be something. We'll see. Shout out to you. It says, go Brownies, stay safe. Oh, yeah. Yeah. Shout out to you guys, everybody. Have yourself a great evening. And I'll see you guys tomorrow. Tomorrow night, we're going to have the... Let me go back. Yeah, we're on AFC, so let me go back here. AFC. Come on, Jay. Get it together. Yeah. It's been a long day. Schedule. Come on, pull up, man. Yeah, that's what we're doing. We're doing the Dolphins and the Chiefs. There you go. Tomorrow night, Dolphins, Chiefs, which that's going to be crazy. Before we get out of here, this one is going to be nuts. Listen, I read a stat earlier. It said that the Dolphins are 0-10. 0-10 in games that are under 40 degrees. It's going to be like 1 degree out there. So, Dolphins fans, probably blame your coach for wearing that I wish it was colder shirt because you guys got exactly what he asked for. So that's how we'll end it tonight, ladies and gentlemen. See you guys tomorrow for the Dolphins and the Chiefs. Have yourself a good night. Peace out.